If your desk has turned into a battle between two computers, you're not alone. Maybe you use a MacBook for work, a desktop for gaming, and every day starts with unplugging cables, reconnecting monitors, and figuring out which keyboard is talking to which machine. It gets old fast. That's where the AV Access iDock-M10 comes in. It's designed to combine a docking station and a KVM switch into one device, letting two computers share dual monitors, keyboard, mouse, audio, and network with a single button press. Sounds like the perfect desk upgrade, but does it actually make life easier? And more importantly, what are the trade-offs? Let's get into it. Most people usually buy separate devices for this kind of setup. One dock for the laptop, one KVM for switching displays and accessories, maybe another hub for extra ports. That can mean more cables, more clutter, and more chances for something to fail. The iDock-M10 tries to simplify everything into one box. You connect both machines, hook up your monitors and peripherals, then switch between systems whenever needed. The biggest headline feature here is Mac support. Many Mac users know the pain of trying to run dual external displays, especially on base model Apple Silicon machines. A lot of docks rely on DisplayLink software, which works, but not always flawlessly. The iDock-M10 aims for a cleaner, driver-free solution on supported Macs. That alone makes it more interesting than generic USB-C docks. Physically, the unit feels sturdy and well-built. It has enough weight to stay planted on a desk instead of sliding every time you press the switch button. The design is simple and professional, so it blends nicely into most setups without drawing attention. The top-mounted switch button is easy to access and has a satisfying click. There's also a wired remote included, which is helpful if you want to hide the dock behind a monitor or under your desk. Thermals are respectable too. Under normal use, it gets warm, but not alarmingly hot. That's expected with a dock pushing power delivery, displays, USB devices, and networking all at once. One drawback though, while functional, the design isn't exactly premium looking for the price. It feels solid, but visually it's more practical than luxurious. This is where the iDock-M10 earns its keep. You're getting dual HDMI outputs for two external displays, multiple USB-A ports for accessories, high-speed USB ports for storage devices, USB-C connectivity, Ethernet, SD card reader, and a 3.5mm audio jack. For most desk setups, that's enough to replace an additional hub completely. You can plug in your keyboard, mouse, webcam, SSD, headphones, and network cable all in one place. The layout is mostly logical, though some users may wish a few more frequently used ports were placed on the front for easier access. If you regularly swap USB drives or SD cards, reaching around the unit can be mildly annoying depending on placement. This is the feature many buyers will care about most. On supported MacBooks, the dock can run two separate external displays without needing extra software. That means true extended desktop mode, not mirrored screens and not software-based workarounds. In real use, this makes multitasking far smoother. You can keep editing software on one monitor, browser windows on another, and still use the laptop display as a third workspace. Compared to many DisplayLink docks, the experience feels more natural and responsive. No weird permissions, no background app running, no occasional screen glitches caused by software layers. But here's the catch. Compatibility matters a lot. Not every Mac supports this equally. Some Apple Silicon models still have monitor limitations, and some require the lid closed for dual displays. If you buy without checking your exact chip and model first, you could be disappointed. So while the dock performs well, Apple's own hardware restrictions still apply. The KVM side of the experience is simple and effective. Press the button, or use the remote, and your monitors, USB devices, and audio shift to the second machine. For anyone moving between a work laptop and home desktop all day, this is a huge quality of life improvement. Instead of managing two keyboards or manually changing monitor inputs, everything moves together. Switch times are generally quick, though not instant. There's usually a short blackout while displays reconnect. It's not long enough to be frustrating, but it's noticeable. If you switch constantly throughout the day, those few seconds add up. Still, it's far better than manually changing cables or navigating monitor menus. One annoying issue with cheaper KVM switches is that monitors disconnect completely during switching. When that happens, windows get scrambled, apps jump screens, and resolution settings reset. The iDock-M10 handles this better thanks to EDID emulation. Displays return more cleanly, and windows usually stay where they belong. That makes the experience feel much more polished. This may sound minor on paper, but if you switch multiple times daily, it becomes one of the most valuable features. The dock supports up to 100 watts power delivery, which is enough for many MacBooks and plenty of Windows laptops. That means one cable can power your laptop while also connecting displays and accessories. For productivity laptops, this works great. Even during heavier workloads, charging remains stable. However, if you use a high-performance gaming laptop that needs more than 100 watts under load, it may still slowly drain battery during intense sessions. That's not unusual for docks, but it's something buyers should know. A wired Ethernet connection is included, and it's one of those features you appreciate more over time. Downloads are stable, latency is lower than Wi-Fi, and switching machines doesn't mean unplugging anything. If one computer is downloading files while you switch to the other, that convenience becomes surprisingly useful. That said, it's 1 gigabit per second Ethernet, not 2.5 gigabits per second, or faster. For most users, that's perfectly fine, but creators moving huge files across local networks may wish for a faster port at this price point. Before buying this dock, check your laptop carefully. This matters more here than with a basic USB hub. Make sure your USB-C port supports video output, not just charging or data. Also verify your Mac model's external display limitations. If your system lacks proper video out support, this dock can't magically create it. It depends on what your machine already supports. This isn't really a flaw of the product, but it can become a frustrating surprise for uninformed buyers. At around the $300 mark, this definitely isn't an impulse purchase. It's a premium accessory aimed at a specific user. If all you need is a simple dock for one laptop, this is overkill. If you only switch computers once in a while, cheaper solutions exist. But if you actively use two systems every day and want dual monitors, shared accessories, charging, Ethernet, and one-button switching, the value becomes easier to justify. It replaces multiple devices and reduces daily friction. The AV Access iDock-M10 is one of those products that makes immediate sense for the right person and almost no sense for the wrong one. If you run a MacBook and desktop side by side, want a cleaner workspace, and hate juggling cables, it can be a genuinely great upgrade. Dual monitor Mac support, reliable switching, solid port selection, and strong charging make it a very practical desk tool. But it's not perfect. The price is high, switching isn't instant, compatibility requires homework, and some users may want faster Ethernet or a sleeker design. So no, it's not for everyone. But for dual computer users who value convenience, it quietly solves problems you deal with every single day, and sometimes that's worth more than flashy features. That's it for this review. Let me know in the comments, would this clean up your desk setup, or is the price too steep? If you found this helpful, drop a like, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.